I think this video is long overdue, because if you ever have tried learning how to dance, or you are learning but it's not going so well, in today's video I will show you what might be missing in your learning process. I think what is missing for sure, because I bet you're not doing those two things. That's why sometimes it is hard to learn. I prepared a guide for you where I share my tips on how you can learn the most successful way, the fastest, and it's just going to be very helpful for you to include it in your learning process, implement those tips. The link will be below. So number one, the most important thing is setting goals. Because if you're learning random things, you will have random results. This is how it works, right? And we don't want that. So instead, I want you to observe what areas of dancing you're struggling with and set realistic goals to improve those areas. You need two types of goals when it comes to learning how to dance. First of all, you have to know what you want to accomplish and what you want to be, where you want to be in your learning experience. Those are your macro goals, your long-term goals. Number two is you have to know what you want to accomplish in every class, if you take classes, or in every practice session, if you're practicing by yourself, or even every single exercise that you're doing. So those are the micro goals. And it will make each practice session more meaningful for you because it will help you stay focused. And of course, to learn anything, we have to be focused. So make sure the goals that you set for yourself are attainable. They have to be challenging, but they have to be realistic, right? So if, for example, if you set the bar too low, and you accomplish those goals right off the bat very quickly, you won't be motivated to learn anything further, right? If you say to yourself, I want to learn 3 dance moves this month, right? That's not difficult. You will learn these 3 steps very quickly. It won't mean that you know how to dance. So for example, you'll go to a party, you'll do the 3 moves, and then you'll be stuck, and then you will feel like, okay, I had a goal for myself, I accomplished it, but it still didn't help. I still feel uncomfortable. You might be discouraged to learn anything else, right? So if you set the bar too high, then you're going to lose motivation very quickly, because you will see that no matter what you're doing, you're not any closer to achieving that goal, right? So for example, if you say to yourself, I want to be the best dancer in the club this month. I'll only spend a month, I'll go to the club and I'm going to be the best. Well, if you have 0 experience, if you have no skills, and you maybe just know like a few moves, a couple of moves, yeah, that might not happen. What kind of goals should you be setting? You want the goals to be very specific. So saying simply that you want to learn how to dance, that's way too broad. Of course you will get there, but it's helpful to have smaller goals along the way, right? They will lead you to that big goal. So when it comes to dancing, pick a problem area. For example, it can be lack of rhythm, right? Or lack of coordination, or looking stiff when it comes to dancing. Or maybe you don't remember the moves that you learned and you want to change that. Set a realistic time frame of when you want to be able to develop that into a skill. So that way your teacher, maybe if you take classes, they can guide you through what you need in order to accomplish your goal. They will create a step-by-step process, a system that you can follow, and you will be able to tackle each of the problem areas one by one and fix them so that in the end you can dance. And don't be concerned with like a final product only. Know that every single thing that you're doing is getting you closer to that goal. Like you will accomplish it, but it's just easier to accomplish those smaller goals along the way, to have wins along the way, and they will lead you to the final result. Doesn't matter if you're learning by yourself or with a teacher, focus on the small wins. I say that pretty much every day to my students inside the program. I mention this a lot. If you notice positive things in your learning process, it will help you learn so much easier. Because think about it. If we start to learn something new, of course we can find a million things that's wrong with us. We're learning too slow, we look too stiff, this movement doesn't look the way we want to. And that negative chatter, it's slowing down the learning process. So I can show you a few examples. Those are the wins, some of the little wins, tiny wins inside my program that my students share. And then it leads them to wins like this. And those are pretty big. If you are a person who have never been on the dance floor in your life, or you've never been comfortable dancing in front of other people, this is huge. Even when you're learning by yourself, have a notebook, have some kind of notes saved on your computer, and literally every single day that you practice, find a little win, write it down. If you have a day where you feel like your motivation is not there or you feel crappy, we all have days like that, look at that list. This will help a lot. If you lack rhythm, for example, if you're learning by yourself and you don't have rhythm, leave the moves for now. Don't learn the moves at all. Focus on rhythm. Your goal can be, I will be able to identify the beat, at least like the easiest beat, so let's say the snare drum, in any song, okay? And because, of course, before we dance to the music, we have to be able to identify the beat we're about to dance to in the music. This will be extremely helpful, because then you will learn how to match the movements to the beat correctly. This is the first step. So I have a lot of tutorials on that. There are a lot of tutorials on rhythm. I will include a playlist for you below. So listen to the songs, identify the beat in them, and then try to match like a simple steps, even like a few simple steps to that beat. Number 2, focus. So learning any new skill, it requires concentration and focus. There are 2 types of concentration styles. You may have an external focus, so that means you're very sensitive to your surroundings and you're easily distracted. Or you can have an internal focus, which means you may find yourself easily distracted by your thoughts. That's me. Like, I don't care what's going on outside, but I have a lot going on up here. By the way, it's not usually the happy thoughts that we have that are distracting, but it's like the negative self-talk. So you're thinking to yourself, I can't do that, that's too hard, whenever you're learning something, and that makes learning even more difficult, so don't do that. Once you identify what is distracting you, you need to learn how to bring focus back at what you're doing, right? At the task at hand. Of course, there will be distractions. You can't get rid of your thoughts. That's not possible. But what you can try is you can analyze what's happening at the moment, and then bring the focus to what you're doing. So, for example, you can ask yourself these questions. Am I dancing on beat? Or are my movements exaggerated? Are they too big? And then you can focus on adjusting the size. What should I do to look looser? Like, am I tensing any specific muscles? Maybe I can just relax, let them go, so I look looser. Or you can count with the music, right? A lot of people, especially when you learn choreography, you have to count to 8. It's an entire sequence. But even if you do a simple count of 1, 2, 1, 2, this will help you focus on rhythm, which again is beneficial because you have to dance with rhythm. With practice, when you acquire a new skill, it will require less and less concentration. As you become more advanced, you will be able to perform that skill without conscious thought. Like, you won't have to focus on what you're doing in the moment. I also found that trying to accomplish different goals at the same time will slow you down. We are always pulled in so many different directions, and then we're not committing our time and our energy to one thing, fully. You will be distracted and you won't be able to see improvements in that one thing that is the most important, and this will cause you to lose motivation to learn. And then some of those goals may not be accomplished. I can tell you that when I started to learn how to dance with instructors, I started to learn kind of late. So I felt like I wasted a lot of time. And then I wanted to learn every single thing, at the same time, all at once. I can mention a few of them. It was hip hop, jazz, belly dance, all at once, and it was confusing because those different styles have different foundation. I wished I picked one thing to focus on, like one style, maybe the style that I liked the most, and I just stuck to that one style. And once I was proficient enough, once I felt like I made enough progress, then I should have moved on to something else and learn a totally new style. For clients in my online program, whom I prepare for dancing in front of other people at parties with confidence, it usually takes around 8 to 12 weeks to build the skills and get them to the comfort level they want. If they focus on the program, like if they have that one focus, one goal. So even after a couple of months, they're able to dance freely whenever they go out, pretty much for the rest of their lives. So you can apply to work with me at the link below. If you want to learn with a teacher, with a proven system, it is just easier. And don't forget, the guide is here for you to download at the link below. I included a lot more tips in this guide. There's several pages of them. And thank you everyone for watching. I cannot wait for you to start implementing these tips. Let me know how it's going. I know it will help you. You just have to, again, stay focused, but it will help speed up the learning process. So let me know in the comments what tips you're going to try, what goals are you setting for yourself so that we can support each other. I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye!
I've lost you, but I need you, and you're off my